What's going on, traders? Welcome back to day 25 of 25 days of trading. I appreciate you guys tuning in this entire month. We've had daily uploads 25 days straight, and I really appreciate you guys tuning in this entire way. Don't forget to subscribe. We got a lot of content coming in the new year, and anything you ever want to see on in a video, trade setup, psychology, mindset, anything trading. Always feel free to reach out or drop it in the comments below and hit the like button. In this one, I want to talk about my best stretch of trading that I'm actually catching at the very end of the year in the month of November to December, but it's not the best stat-wise P&L, but it is stat-wise green and win percentage, which is pretty interesting, huh? But let's just get right into it. Let's make this last one a good one, shall we? Looking at November, December, as we could see in the previous videos, I had the 14-day green streak I was trying to beat. We matched it. We beat it on Thursday, was it? It was this past Monday. But regardless, we beat it. So that's our new streak going into the new year. We'll see if we can keep it up. And if not, that'll be the one we'll try to beat next year. But regardless, I want to talk about how I was able to accomplish this and how it even came into fruition of I didn't even realize I had it until I put that widget on from TradeZella, because it really is only separated by one red day in November. So what a shame. If I didn't have that, I could have had 20 straight green days, which would have been crazy. But regardless, we'll look at some markups, but a lot of it is your approach and your psychology and your mindset that you give to the charts, because I could teach you a strategy. I could give you mine in ASFX TV, my Futures 2.0 course. I do give you my strategy, as well as my trading plan, management tips, what key levels, the VWAP indicators of how to put it on your chart. I literally give you everything. But I can't exactly give you a brain or a mindset. I try to teach you it, but it's up to you to accept it and evolve it and develop that mindset just through experience. So I'll always try to give you guys tips, but at the end of the day, the strategy is half the battle, as many of this is accepting a red day, not over trading, not being greedy, not having FOMO. And that's why I make videos on them, because that's really what's mostly holding people back. But don't get that mistaken. Many people don't have a trading plan, and that's why they're not finding the consistency that they want. So I guess first things first, we'll look at some markups, not all of them from the past month or so. That'd be a long ass video. But this is the one today, the one that beat the streak to get it to 15 straight green days. If you've seen the course or any of my previous videos, this looks like my trade except this blue view up yesterday's New York. That's the one thing I didn't love about it, as sellers break outside the open range low. Not taking that, because especially today it could have acted as support at the yesterday's New York. But then once sellers defended here and we broke below the low a day and that yesterday's New York again, the 15-minute was opening up bearish since the changeover. I got to take this trade. This fits my plan. I'm riding the structure. Stocks are moving down so far. The VIX is moving up and making new highs. So I could have taken a loss here with this yesterday's New York if I wanted to chop around and pop higher. But at the end of the day, I'm just reading and reacting to my structure off my key levels. It was a clean trade. And it looks exactly like this one, just without that yesterday's New York view up in the way, which is why I easily took this one, because this is the bread and butter trade of riding structure, not chasing this first break outside the open range low, taking the second one after sellers defended right here, right? I explained this in the course. I made other videos about it. We don't need to go on that one for too long. But this is one during this streak where, what is this trade? Yes, there's clear trend, but I'm selling at a very low price, a very small pullback. This is on a 2 minute just to show all the candles, but still, it's not a significant pullback in my book. Not off a key level. The plays were off the opening range low. I mean, this short over here, I don't know why I wasn't in that. That looks like don't chase the first break, take the second break. So I honestly don't know why I wasn't in that. I don't know what was going on that day if I have it marked up. But regardless, over here, break back below the New York view up after open range low, or even later on in the afternoon on a break of lower day view up. There was definitely better plays on this day, which I was thankfully able to recover it by shorting it later. But I shouldn't have even taken this loss because it's just so low. It doesn't fit my plan. But at the end of the day, I am human. I'm going to take setups that don't look perfect, that don't fit my plan. I'm induced into them. I'm wanting to trade, whatever the case may be, right? But it's about limiting that downside. I didn't get stopped out and instantly just sell it again right here because, oh, it's falling back again without me. Let me get back in. No, it still hasn't given my deep pullback. It's still not off a key level. I probably shouldn't have been in the first one. Let me wait. And by waiting, I'm able to get a better price and less stress as I get in and it's straight profit. So just sticking to that long-term focus of I don't need to just jump right back in. Accepting a loss is a big deal, because many people, when they have a red trade to start off the day, it bleeds into a bigger red day or even just a 0 for 2 day if they stop themselves with a max daily loss, because they can't handle that first one. And if you can't handle that first one, you're in it for a long stretch, because then you're basically just banking on Well, if my first trade's a winner, I trade good. If my first trade's a loser, I trade bad. And that's just not sustainable, and we can't have that over the long term. This is pretty similar. This was just on a momentum day, driven by stats from Edgeful. I think it was in that video. This white line below us is the midnight price, which, oh no, it was the opening range regardless, but it wanted to be engaged with. So that's why I was willing to take this small pullback because it was just breaking with strong momentum. Okay, they probably want to go get that target. I was able to get 1R in that. But realistically, not every trade looks like my plan. This one looks like my plan. I made a video about it. Screenshot this, read the notes, save it. Not going to go into it too much. We already made a couple of videos on this one, but that's a clean one. This one, this is how I incorporated the 15-minute, and you've seen videos on that on this channel. Of this is during the open, but seeing the way we respected this yesterday's New York pre-market of overnight and even here pre-market, now getting above the daily after holding it for like 45 minutes to an hour into that open, I really like the longs once we start off just a little bit bullish, because if it came back below the daily, I don't want to be in this long. This structure isn't holding up like I thought it was. So I was able to catch a nice early long there, which doesn't really look like my play. This looks like my play. These look like my plays off a key level with clear trend. So I mean, that's really just the cleanest setups. I'm not going to go over all of them. I'm sure they're in all the videos I made this month one way or another. But to get a green streak, I guess, like this, not that everyone's trying to attain this green streak, just realistically how I was able to trade so well in this past month, green streak or not, is by waiting for my best setup more times than not. Of course, you saw a few times where I didn't, but I was able to quickly go back to waiting for my setup maybe later on in the day and make that money back so I could have a scratch day and keep the streak alive. But regardless of the streak or not, you need to have a best setup or even just a consistent, repeatable setup, like I mentioned, the Futures 2.0 course. But even if you don't trade mine in that course, which is completely fine, you need to trade like you. You need to trade your best setup, what works best for you, and not just take every single trade that you see. If you can reel it in and have the discipline of what is my plan, you need to treat it like a business and not get overwhelmed by all the potential entry signals of long in it now. Yeah, I'll just take this because it looks like it can go short. I agree that it could look like it wants to go short, but I shouldn't be in this. This isn't my best plan. It's not off a key level. There's no VWAP break. So although I think it wants to go lower, I'm not in the game of thinking things. I need to see my plan present. And just the power of 1 to 2 trades. Like I mentioned in almost every video, less trades equals more money more times than not. That if I could just wait for that one good setup, have faith that it will present again, because I have an abundance mindset that even on one of these examples, like we were saying on the shorts, oh, I got to get in now, it's going to drop forever. It actually does pull back and give me my plan. If I just would have trusted that and had faith that that could still happen today, I wouldn't have needed to jump in and just settle for, it's pretty low here, we're not going to get a pullback, I'll just sell it here because this looks like the best option. So no, that's not the right way of thinking. Have some professional approach to it. If this isn't my plan, if it can do this, then I'll get in. If it keeps on falling, so be it. I'll come back tomorrow, I'll find a better trade. So just reeling it back in. I see many people not taking the same setups. I bet you guys can all look at your report cards on TradeZilla and how many of your trades look the same. You can go into my report cards, and I'd say 70 to 80% look like this on the break outside the open range low. Inversely for the longs on this New York one, that they look like this with trending structure off a key level, whether that's a VWAP or an open range high, initial balance high, yesterday's New York VWAP, any of the above. Just a key level with clear trend, and I'm playing the continuation with a healthy stop loss because I don't want to be stopped out too soon here and then see the move happen without me, because I'm not greedy that let me go really tight so I only need 4 points for 1R. No, if it calls for me to have a 6-point stop, I'll give it 6 points. If it happens to be 12 points, I'll give it 12 points. I want to give myself the best shot to win. I don't want to get greedy and say, well, if this just pops a little bit, I can get my win. No, I'm going to see the idea through. I think it can go up to 1R, even with the 8 points. That's not too egregious. Now let's get in the game with proper risk. But if you don't have a plan, that's probably the thing holding you back the most. That you can't even, there's no way you can get lucky enough to scrape and claw your way around a month and have 15 straight green days if none of the trades look consistently the same. That's just my opinion. I don't think anyone could do that. That you need something that is repeatable of like, okay, a lot of these trades are off this New York or off a high day break, because that way you could repeat it. And so the outcomes could be somewhat repeatable and consistent, right? Makes sense? I think so. Another part of it, like I was saying, many of this is not even strategy. It's a lot of your mindset of how you're approaching the market. That on these break even days, I'm completely fine with that. That okay, it's only $83, but I survived the day. That I know I can come back in tomorrow and find another trade. It's just one day. I say probably about I have 12 days this month, but it's a shortened month with the holiday. I probably have about 15 days a month of trading. So okay, it's one day of 15. There's plenty more opportunities and days to make a bigger P&L, and they'll quickly stack up, right? I mean, I only have 12 days, 3 or 4 of them, we'll say, break even. So it's really like 8 days of trading and still about 8K. So if I didn't have those break even days, let's just wash those away because they didn't really happen. Of the days where I actually made money, it's still 7K. So it's still a healthy amount of wins and P&L on not a lot of trades that I don't need to be in all of every move. I'm going to wait for my good spot and get in. I'd rather end up $200 just by going 1-0 than battling my way around and I ended up 200. I know you do too, but it's a lot easier to think that way when you're just saying, yeah, I'd rather just wait for my best setup than have to get in now, potentially have to make it back, and then scrap another win across, and now I'm up $200. Mentally, that's just going to be very taxing throughout a week, throughout a month, and even on your stats. It's going to send you through a whirlwind of having to document these trades, as well as trying to recover from a loss, bounce back, and be fresh for that next trade, put it behind you. It's going to be a lot tougher. Where if I'm approaching the market of it's 10:30, I'm flat on the day, I'm up on the week, I could probably get into that trade no problem and manage it no problem. But if I have a lingering red day before because I mismanaged trades, maybe now I'm more likely to mismanage this next one because now I'm trading it off of yesterday's P&L and not just trading it for what it is, right? Okay, I lost 500 yesterday. This is up 1R right now telling me to close, but it's only 350. Let me try to hold it for 500. Comes back, gets stopped at break even. That's not the long-term approach. If you could have just bagged the 350, try to make another 150 in the next trade or even tomorrow, you could have made $300 tomorrow, and now you're actually up 150 on the week. Stack another day tomorrow, next Tuesday. You keep stacking small little days together. You look back at the end of the month, you're like, oh wow, yeah, I actually stacked together a pretty good month just by zooming out. I said that back in January. My goal was zooming out to even just the monthly. That one day of 15 does not define my trading. It's not going to make or break me. I'm not going to make all the money I want this year on this one trade or this one day. So why am I trying to squeeze the life out of it? Let me just take it one day at a time, play for the month. Even if I have 2 losing weeks, if I still end the month green, all right, we're growing. Long term, I'm growing. Month over month, I'm playing for the end of the year, right? But it's very tough to sit through 2 weeks of red if you unfortunately have them. But you still could finish off the month strong if you have some good trading and not a lot of big losses in the beginning. That's just zooming out on the month that today's trade is not that significant. So the size shouldn't be too significant either. It should be consistent enough that the risk can keep you alive for a long period of time. For 2 weeks, 3 weeks of pretty rough trading, you're still alive. But regardless, like I mentioned on ASFX TV here, I give you my course. One Christmas gift to you would be if you use code Xmas, you actually can get 25% off the two courses, my 2.0, as well as Austin's 101, if you've never traded futures, as well as the live streams, where you'll see me take these trades live that I teach you in there, as well as just the trades I take in general, whether you want to trade like me, like Austin, James, Zach, whatever it is, the little nuances, because we all do trade a little bit different. And that's one last thing I'll say is Austin trades a little different than me. That's why on this given short today, when I faded him, that's all right, because I'm taking into account what he's thinking, but also he's thinking and seeing different things. He has a different risk appetite than me. He doesn't weigh the 15 minute as much as I do. He likes longs just more in general. So yeah, he's not going to love this short, but I can't let that talk me out of my short because this is my plan. I've marked it up 1,000 times. I've taken it hundreds of times. I'm long-term focused that even if this does lose, I can get back in later. I can get back in tomorrow. I can find more trades. I'm playing the long term and we can do this thing. Let's treat it like a business. Let's treat it professionally. Let's have a great 2025. But really, it was a great stretch. Not a lot of losses on the day side of things. Obviously, I'm not trying to hide my losses. I took losses on plenty of these days. Not all of them. We had a couple one and done days or two and done. But the losing on the day side of things is what I'm most proud of. because that's absurd. But regardless, let's have a great 2025. I appreciate you guys tuning in this entire series, like I mentioned. If you're watching this on Christmas morning, God bless you. I really appreciate you. Have a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. Spend time with your family, your loved ones. Enjoy the time off the desk. That's why we all get into this business. Most likely to do with our time as we want. And many of you want to spend time with your family, and I don't blame you. So enjoy it. We'll get ramped back up in the new year. If you have any questions, you want any other videos specifically, always feel free to drop it in the comments, like I said, or reach out to me. There's always more information that we're all going to learn, whether that's strategy, psychology, tips and tricks, or whatever. So along the way, I'll keep making videos about them. But thanks for tuning in. Make sure to subscribe. We got a lot of videos coming in 2025. Enjoy the rest of your holiday break. No video tomorrow, but I appreciate you guys. I'll see you guys on the desk in the new year.